Welcome, everybody, to the podcast After Sight, hosted by Audio Information Network of Colorado. I am Penn Street, and I am so excited for our guest today, Lorna Greene. And I have known Lorna for a number of years. I met Lorna when I had moved to Loveland, Colorado, and was interested in participating more in my new community of Loveland, and interviewed to sit on the Human Service Commission commission, I guess it is, here in Loveland. And Lorna was the person who interviewed me, along with another wonderful woman, Jackie. And Lorna actually scared me because which is a funny way of describing Lorna, because Lorna is not scary at all. But she scared me because she really asked hard questions, and she did not treat me like I was blind or visually impaired. She treated me just like anybody else who came in to interview for the position. And honestly, I was not, I'd never been treated that way in any sort of interview. I always have been treated like I was blind and visually impaired, kind of the pat on the head and kind of thing. But Lorna was not like that at all. And it actually was startling to be treated, quote, normal. I hate that word, but to be treated normal. And from that moment on, Lorna and I have become good friends for many, many years. And and Lorna's gone through some transitions of her own with vision loss. And I think that having that in common also strengthened our friendship. So Lorna, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very, very much. But if this is good color, I'm blushing. If I've ever done that in my
life. So Lorna, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
All right. I live in Berthoud. I'm a retired instructor at college level and administrator of educational programs. And when I met Penn, shortly after that was when I found out I had macular degeneration. And at that point in time, Penn was the only person I knew who basically was visually impaired or blind. And so I went to her to ask her what I should do. I mean, what should I do to, I guess, prepare myself? And what Penn told me was, just keep remembering all the things you can do and not worry about the things that you might not be able to do. And I've never forgotten it. I can also tell you that's how she lives her life. But I am astonished to hear that everybody before that treated you like you were, quote, a blind person being interviewed. What's that got to do with anything in terms of whether or not you can do it? Okay, I'm sorry.
That will be another podcast.
Yes. I have to tell you this. The truth of the matter is, I think Penn really took me up on that, because when I was lucky enough to be able to offer her a drive somewhere or ride somewhere, I cannot find my way out of an open paper bag. I have no sense of direction whatsoever. Penn, however, has a compass in her navel. And so she's the one who gives me directions on how to get places. Now, when I tell that to people who don't know her, they think I'm joking. People who do know her, however, can understand, because there isn't anything that she sets her mind to do that she can't. So, okay, so that's who I am.
Okay, if people could see me, I'm blushing now too. So
good.
All right, now we got all the mushy stuff out of the way. But yeah, I know you've had ups and downs with your vision, and
absolutely.
We've had many conversations, even through COVID. You would come over and we'd sit on the porch and with our masks on and under blankets. Yes. Occasionally have a hot drink. So yeah, but you really have been a blessing in my life. And
thank you. Thank you.
So I invited Lorna here because the holidays are upon us. Hanukkah, yes. Christmas, New Year's, Kwanzaa. I'm sure I'm missing some others. And Lorna, several years ago, recited a story to me and it's a Hanukkah story. And Lorna she recites this story to preschoolers, and you even recited it to one of the Lions Club meetings.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful story. And I just thought, what a great way going into this holiday season of celebration. And it's also, to me, it's always, holidays are always a good time to reflect and think about goals maybe that I've accomplished, but also maybe some of those that I definitely need to work on in the upcoming year. But I just thought this would be great, and I would love for you to share this amazing story with our listeners, if you would, Lorna.
It would be my pleasure. I would also like to tell you, excuse me, I belong to a group called St. Vrain Valley Storytellers, and we are a group of people whose mission is not to bring back, but to make sure it stays, and that's the art of storytelling. When I first became a storyteller was also when I first started having vision problems, and frequently it was very difficult for me to read to the kids, which I love to do, but not having to worry about reading it from a book, but being able to tell them a story was it was the most wonderful thing that could have happened to me, because it meant I could keep on doing what I was doing, but do it in a very different way. So that's why I became a storyteller rather than just a story reader. And I urge all of you, doesn't matter whether you think you're good at storytelling or not, tell stories to your children, your grandchildren, your neighbors, whatever. It's a wonderful way of passing on the stories, but also of sharing yourself with the children that you're telling to. It really is great. Okay. The name of the story is Mr. Mortensen's Very Hard Day. And I think the reason that I am particularly fond of it, even though, of course, it is a holiday story, but it can be used for almost any holiday. And Mr. Mortensen is an alien. And there aren't too many holiday stories that have an alien as the main character. So if you'll just sit back for a minute, I will tell you what happened on Mr. Mortensen's very, very hard day. Mr. Mortensen was very, very good at what he did. He was one of the best of his kind. He had a very important job on his planet. He traveled a lot to other planets. The reason he traveled so much was to find out what they were doing and to find out if they were doing it the right way. The planet that Mr. Mortensen lived on was a planet that was dedicated to peace. They felt that peace should have 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 pages in the dictionary. War should only have a half a line. They really believed in peace. And so Mr. Mortensen's job was to go from one planet to another when there was any hint of something going wrong, and find out whether or not that planet was still peaceful enough to be a place for people to live. If it wasn't, by the way, then he would just do away with them, with everything that was living on the planet. It wasn't like a war. All he had to do was to sneeze. And if he sneezed while he was at work, while he was checking out a planet to find out whether or not the people were peaceful, and he decided they weren't, and he sneezed, they were gone. That was the end of it. They just weren't there anymore. Well, on this particular day, Mr. Mortensen's boss told him that he was going to visit a planet he hadn't been to before. It was called Earth. He'd gotten a lot of very negative stories about Earth. It was time for Mr. Mortensen to go and find out what was really going on. I would tell you that Mr. Mortensen put on a uniform, brushed his hair, shaved, wanted to look great, but that's not really how it works. On his planet, you don't put on anything because you don't really have a body to put it on. You're just there. Of course, when he got to Earth, he would have a body. He would look like all the other people who lived on Earth. But until then, He was just Mr. Mortensen. Everybody knew he was there. They could kind of feel him being around, but you couldn't see him. Well, it was time for him to go, so he took a deep breath. And there he was, on Earth. He looked around. He was in a car, they called it. I guess that's the way most people get around here, he thought. Not bad car. Actually, it was a classic car. It was a 1980 Cadillac. It was gorgeous. He didn't know that, of course. It didn't matter to him. But he'd find out later what some people thought about it. Okay, well, here he was. I guess it's time to start. So, turned the key, started the car, and started to pull away from the sidewalk where he was parked, when all of a sudden there was a screaming horn. "What are you doing, old man?" Somebody was yelling at him. "Why don't you look where you're going, old fella?" Mr. Mortensen was more than a little taken aback. What kind of a way was that to talk to someone? Didn't sound like things were going to get any better. He might just have to get rid of these people quicker than you could bat your eye. No, take a deep breath. Wait a minute. Let them go. We'll give them another chance. The other car pulled around Mr. Mortensen and screamed down the street. Very carefully, Mr. Mortensen put the car in gear, turned the wheel, pulled out from his parking place, and started down the street. He looked around. Things were pretty crowded. There were all sorts of people around, people running across the street without really looking. My goodness, he nearly hit that person. They didn't even stop for the red light. That's terrible. Oh, all right, let's try again. Mr. Mortensen put the car in first gear, then about into second and third, driving down the road. Oh, look at all those people over there. I think that's a shopping center, he thought. I've heard that shopping centers have a lot of people doing fun things. Let's go in there. He was talking to himself, but he was used to that because usually when he went on a job, he didn't have anybody else to talk to. So he pulled into the parking lot, and just as he was about to pull into a parking place, somebody else's brakes screeched. Somebody else leaned out of their window and yelled, "Where do you think you're going? That's my space." Mr. Mortensen really didn't have anything to say to someone who was talking like that. So very, very carefully, but very quietly, he just pulled into the parking place. And mentally, he put that one in his mind, too. Those are two people who've screamed at me so far, and I haven't even gotten out of the car yet to find out what these people are like. He parked the car and got out, locked the door, and started to walk across the parking lot towards one of the stores. "Hey, mister, move along. I got stuff here I got to put in my car." My goodness, people spoke so loudly here. Didn't know what to do about that. He sort of shook his head and walked a little bit faster, not very fast, but a little bit faster. He looked at all the people who were walking around, and there were some of them who had smiles on their faces. There were an awful lot of them who didn't. And there was pushing and shoving. My goodness, that didn't make him very comfortable. He walked into the store, and there were people standing in line with baskets full of things. They weren't standing in line very quietly, though. They were yelling at each other. Move along, I gotta get home. My kids need lunch, blah, 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 blah." Mr. Mortensen's nose started to itch. Was he gonna have to sneeze? Was it time that he should sneeze? No, he'd only been there a short while. He wanted to make sure that he gave this planet their chance. He was going to look over everything, see how people were doing, how everything was going. But if they didn't stop yelling at each other, that very itchy nose might sneeze, and then they'd all be gone. He walked through the store and out another door. Maybe he was in the wrong place. Maybe they were just too busy doing things, and that's why they weren't being very nice to each other. So he got back in the car, pulled out of his parking place, looking very carefully to make sure there wasn't anybody who was going to yell at him. Pulled out, got onto the main street, and started to drive around town. Oh, look, that's a place where people are eating. He could see them sitting outside under umbrellas. Those smells were kind of funny. He didn't know what they were eating. Things on his planet were very, very different. He kept driving. Oh, my goodness. A man was outside of his front door, picking up his newspaper and shaking it and yelling at the man at the next house. I bet you told him to drop this in the mud, didn't you? No, I didn't. He just doesn't have a very good arm. Oh, everybody seemed so unhappy with everything. Didn't seem like anybody did anything that made someone feel good. Mr. Mortensen's nose was really starting to itch. Well, turn down this road. It looks a little quieter. Maybe the people on this street are doing okay. Oh, wait. Look, down there in that window. I see some kind of lights in that window, he thought to himself. So he pulled over to the side and he parked his car, looked out again. Yeah, I wonder how come that house has all those lights. And there's a house up there with some and a house down there. Well, guess I'll give it a try. Mr. Mortensen opened the door, got out of the car, and walked up to the door. Knock, knock, knock. Door opened up. Hi, mister, what can I do for you? A little boy stood there with a great big smile on his face. That was pleasant, made Mr. Mortensen feel a lot better. I was just wondering about your lights. And just as he said that, a lady came out of the kitchen. She had an apron thing wrapped around her waist. Johnny, who's that? Oh, Mom, it's just a nice man. He wants to know about the lights. Well, dear, ask him to come in. Mister, you want to come in? Why, yes, thank you very much. And so Mr. Mortensen entered the house, and oh, my goodness, it felt warm, friendly inside. And he noticed there were lights in the window, and on the table, there was, what were they? There were candles. That's what they called them here. Candles, little things that had lights on top. Candles. The lady with the apron said, well, I hope you're having a nice evening, sir. What can we do for you? Well, said Mr. Mortensen, I'm new in town, and I was just wondering about the lights in your window. Could you tell me about those? Oh, of course, she said. Just then, a man came into the room. Who is it, Betty? Oh, a gentleman who's new in town. Well, invite him in. We've got plenty. Would you like to have dinner with us, sir? Dinner? You mean sit down and eat food with you? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, said the little boy. Please, 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 come and have dinner with us. We are having the best dinner in the world. We're going to have brisket, and we're going to have potato latkes, and we're going to have applesauce, and it's going to be delicious. Well, I mean, even if you're an alien, you know what delicious means. Well, thank you, said Mr. Mortensen. I'd really like to. Thank you very much. Well, come, sit down. Sat down at the table, and the lady with the apron passed around the plates that had the best smelling food in the world. My goodness. Excuse me for asking, said Mr. Mortensen, but can you tell me more about the lights? I mean, you've got lights in your window, and you have these candles on the table. Why do you have all these lights? Oh, said the mother. You see, it's the holiday season, and our neighbors and our family just love to share the holiday with everybody, and the way we do that is with the candles and the lights that we have. Our candles are named for the holiday. They're called Hanukkah candles. Hanukkah candles, said Mr. Moore. Yes, that's right, she said. You're doing very, very well. Oh, and what about the lights in the window? Well, we couldn't very well put the candles in the window because, you know, they're fire and they could cause something to, so we use lights in the window. Our neighbors next door have lights also. They have lights on their Christmas tree, and they're very pretty. And the people down the street, they celebrate Kwanzaa, and they have different kinds of lights. But we all just love to share them because they make us feel so happy, and we think maybe it makes other people feel happy too. Oh, said Mr. Mortensen. So you want to share the happy? Yes, that's it. That's a good way of putting it, said the mother. We just want to share the happy. Well, thank you. And thank you for sharing dinner with me. That was just delicious. The truth is, Mr. Mortensen didn't even eat that kind of food on his planet, but that was okay. I want to thank you again. This was really just a delight. Thank you so much. Well, said the mother, we're so glad you stopped in. It's always like a present if someone stops at your house and you can offer them a meal. It makes us feel very good. So I hope it makes you feel good too. Oh, yes, absolutely, said Mr. Mortensen. Thank you again. He went to the door, said goodbye, walked down and got in his car. Boy, oh boy, am I glad I didn't sneeze too early. That's just wonderful. There are very, very happy people here. I think I've seen enough. I guess it's time for me to go home. I'll tell them. I'm not sure I'll tell them about the potato latkes, but I will tell them what a wonderful place this is. So Mr. Mortensen got in the car and drove down to the beach. He parked the car along the road, rolled up his pants, walked down the sand. Just as he put his foot in the water, like that, he was back home. Well, Mr. Mortensen, tell us, how did everything go? It went amazing, said Mr. Mortensen. I was so pleased. At first, I wasn't sure. Those people who live on Earth, you really have to give them a little time so that you can get used to things there. But I got to tell you, it was wonderful. Oh, so they don't get the big sneeze, is that right? Oh, no sneezing. They're doing just fine. If I don't have anything else to do today, I think I'll be going home then, sir. Oh, yes, Mr. Mortensen, that's just fine. And so Mr. Mortensen stepped out of the clothes that he was wearing. Now, of course, you couldn't see him now, because remember, on his planet, you don't see the people. I think I'll go home and maybe I'll take my daughter out for an ice cream cone. Whatever I do, though, it's going to be better for having been there. I like that. All the candles, all the lights, let people know we're happy. We're glad they're here. And just like that, Mr. Mortensen was gone. Not gone forever. He was gone home. He was going to take his daughter out for ice cream. He figured that would be a good end to a very, very good day. The end.
Lorna, that's beautiful. It's talking about a gift. It's such a gift when you share that story.
Oh, thank you. I love it because the kids particularly are always a little bit aghast at first when I tell them I'm going to tell them a holiday story with an alien. So that kind of grabs them from the beginning, but I do enjoy it, yes.
Well, I think no matter what age you are, when somebody tells you that they're going to tell you a holiday story about an alien, I think they want to listen.
I hope so. I hope everybody enjoys it.
I think they will, Lorna. And thank you so much for sharing with us. And you're the light in my life. Oh, regardless if it's the holidays or not.
Thank you. So, I love you.
I love you, Lorna Greene. Thank everybody out there. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I'm trying not to cry. And remember that there is life after sight.